Iris Acker, and we're on stage. Oh, are we on a glorious stage today. I'm going to read you a little something before I introduce our guest. Just a headline. Christine Andreas steals Broadway theme show with Palm Beach Pops. Were they ever lucky? And are we ever lucky? Because that's who we have with us here today. Say hello to Christine Andreas. I'm not going to let you talk yet.
Okay.
I have got to say something. I love this press release that I got here because our audience has got to know who you are. Best known for her work on the Broadway stage, Miss Andreas burst onto the New York theater scene starring as Eliza Doolittle in the 20th anniversary production of My Fair Lady, opposite the Royal Shakespeare Company's Ian Richardson, and garnering the Theatre World Award. That's just the beginning. That's when you burst onto Broadway. We're going to get to everything else you've done. And here you are, and we have her, and we have you.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And we did see you, lighten the piazza, of course.
Well, I opened your Carnival Center.
That's right.
Yeah, I was the first foot. This foot was the
first one
foot
to
step ever on that brand new stage. I think it was that one. Yeah.
So lighten the piazza, they approached you and you said, sure, I'll play somebody's mother.
What was time? The ingenue phase is past, and you know, it's okay. And I am a mother. And what's odd about Piazza, and sometimes, you know, your art reflects your life. Piazza, the story is the story of, it takes place in the 50s, but it's the mother of a special child who's mentally impaired, and she has to let go. I had 4 days before I was offered that role, my son, who was then, I guess, 19, and he's special needs and mentally challenged, found a group home for him, which is what he wanted. He wanted his own life. So Mac was placed into his group home, and 4 days later I was offered Piazza. So I spent 55 weeks on the road as a mother letting go of my special son, playing a mother letting go of a special daughter.
What a special, special time for you.
Yes, indeed.
And for us, because again, creating Laurie in Oklahoma, and not the first time around.
No.
We're not,
hello.
Hello, wouldn't that be something? But you did receive 2 Tony nominations when you did working with Billy Hammerstein and Agnes DeMille, and On Your Toes. Look at these shows, Words of Music, Rag, Stardust. But Pal Joey, one of my favorites. Here you are, and we're going to talk about something else today.
Okay. Cabaret.
What does the word cabaret mean to our audience? What does it mean to you?
Well, initially, I think I'll say what it means to people, I think first. I think people sometimes, they don't know what it means. And because the form can often be indulgent, it's sometimes a wrong impression. Cabaret at its best is when you have an artist who is so connected to their music that when you sit in a tiny, intimate space, like an 80-seat room, and you have somebody like Barbara Cook, let's say, doing her music and channeling years and years and years of her artistry into an evening, you get such a dose of, you know, it's almost a spiritual experience, you know, because it's not like you're in a 4,000-seat theater and she's a million miles away in some over-amplified system. She's just like you and me. Exactly. I mean, you can be as close to me as you are right now in this tiny room, and I am singing, you know, music that has become such a part of the fabric of me that it goes into you in a whole different way, in a deeper way. It's a wonderful experience, having had it myself, watching Barbara Cook at the Carlisle, you know.
Hey, but why? Why are you? Look at these Broadway credits, show after show.
Well, you know, there's only so many shows, you know. There's only, and at the time that I actually went into cabaret, again, it was for mothering reasons. I had to make a shift because 8 shows a week in a Broadway show is so demanding that your home life can really suffer. And at the time when I didn't know what was going on with my son, and I just basically looked up to heaven and I said, well, what am I supposed to do? I'm a singer, but I really can't do 8 shows a week anymore. I can't tour right now. I have to see what's on my plate with my son. And literally, you know, as I say this in my show, I closed the door on theater, and in through the door the window walked my husband, Marty Silvestri, with all of his music. He's a composer, a producer, a Grammy-nominated record producer, you know, and we just started making our own music, and our first gig was the White House of George I.
No.
It was. Yeah, George I. Yes, it was. And I didn't know. I got a phone call, and I just said, we hardly knew each other at the time, and I said, I had this gig and I thought he was really cute. He was living in LA and I said, I got this gig and, you know, maybe you'd like to come and get together with me and make a little music maybe, you know. And he said, oh, well, where is it? And I went, oh, it's the White House.
Happens to be the White House.
Just happens to be the White House.
Is it
so
on
he
your
was
resume?
interested. What?
So what if you put it on your resume?
Yes, it is. Isn't there somewhere? So that's where we started.
Okay.
We had 40 minutes set in the private living quarters of the president.
How do you put a cabaret act together? You said something to me before about it being narcissistic.
Well, could be.
Could
I mean, because
be.
it's only you. You're all alone for 75 minutes. So
Yes.
depending on how comfortable you are in your skin, you're either showing off or you're going deeper. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So a lot of artists, I mean, when I first did it, you tried to be planted on the ground, but it's if you're used to theater and bouncing off of other performers, that's a whole different energetic, you know, and it's more presentational. There's what they call that third wall. There's something between you and the audience, because it's pretend. In cabaret, it's Christine. I'm not Lori in Oklahoma. I'm not Eliza Doolittle.
Yes.
I'm myself. So however comfortable you are in your own skin, that's how honest the act will be. And over time now, I've gotten a lot more comfortable, and it's actually very joyful now. I love it. And I bounce off my husband. We have different shows that I do, but when he and I do our show together, there is an unspoken energy between us, or connection. And it's, you know, our commitment to each other is basically what it is, and it's our musical bond is what it is. And so the audience at the end of the show, as much as they're talking about loving our repertoire, which we channel from all places, which is, you know, a combination of all kinds of wonderful show tunes and original stuff, because he's a composer, and standards. People are talking about our connection, and they feel the love is the only word I can use. They feel this man-woman thing, and they love that because it affirms something that we all want to believe in. But, you know, relationships are hard, so this affirms the best part of what relationships are musically.
But right now, I want to gear our audience for a treat.
Okay.
Because this is just a taste of what you would see when you see Christine in performance. And here she is, Christine Andreas, singing for us.
I laughed at sweethearts I met at schools. All indiscreet hearts seemed romantic fools. A house in Iceland was my heart's domain. I saw your eyes. Now castles rise in Spain. I took one look at you. That's all I meant to do. And then my heart stood still. My feet could step and walk. My lips could move and talk. And yet my heart stood still. Though not a single word was spoken, I could tell you knew that unfelt clasp of hands told me so.